Hey there, I am Christy Ruffino, former broke single mom turned CEO of 2 six-figure businesses and best-selling author with 15 books. But it wasn't always like this. Not long ago, I was a hot mess. Yes, I did a lot of things right, but mostly I was throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what would stick. Fast forward past many failed attempts and a few incredible victories, I not only get to share what I've learned along the way, I get to bring together top influencers as they share their empowering stories, insider secrets, and valuable resources that can be used right now to step into your power. So, if you're an ambitious entrepreneur, or possibly one in the making, and you're looking to create a business and life that lights you up, well, then you're in the right place. Well, hey there, this is Christy Ruffino, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. I am excited to have you get to know me, get to know my show, and get to know today's featured speaker. If you're here because you want to learn tips and tricks to being a better entrepreneur, growing your small business, or scaling your online business, well, then you're in the right place. And if you are specifically focused on scaling your online business, then I know today is going to be an episode that you are going to be glad that you joined in for, because my guest today is Jennifer O'Neal, or as her friends call her, Jenn. Now, Jenn is a repeat guest. She's one of the few guests that I've invited back on for a second appearance because she is just a fountain of information. Jenn Neal is a well-known authority on traffic, content repurposing, and messaging. She's a leader in the market and knows the roadmap to online success. She believes that small businesses are the key to strong communities and not only give back, but to create an upward growth cycle in the world. Jenn is talking today about content repurposing and how to take one little piece of content that you create focused on story and turn it into a month's worth of amazing content to put on all of your social channels. So I don't want to belabor this anymore. Jenn is a master. The show today is going to be masterful, and I'm excited for you to tune in and reap the rewards from learning from this amazing woman. We'll see you very soon. Welcome, everybody. This is Christy Ruffino, and I'm excited to have you on the show today, Jenn. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's see, you were on our show in the beginning when we first started, when it was called something different, when we called it Overcoming Mediocrity. Now that it's Mastery Unleashed, I thought it was perfect to have you come back and share how you can help our audience unleash their mastery in the world and take that brilliance and repurpose it. Content repurposing is something that we all know we should do, but we don't know how correctly anyways. And you're going to teach us how to do it the right way. But what I would like to start with is how did you get in this? I know you shared your story once a while ago, but for who has not heard that episode, share with the audience how you kind of got in this field.
Absolutely. Well, I'll give you the quick 20-year overview in 5 minutes or less. So actually, I'll make it really quick. But I started off in high school actually with an Adobe version 1.0. And I came out of school and I was immediately working in small business marketing because I hit it just right being that old that like nobody else knew how to do computer graphic design before that. It was all just done by hand,
Did you
right?
have like the big monitor, those big Apple monitors that were like big
Oh,
spaceships and
when I started, it was like the little like iMac with the floppy disk.
oh,
Legit, it was way old.
wow.
But yes, I did end up with the big monitors and everything. But because I started in that and I won like a high school competition, BPA, Business Professionals of America thing. I won like the marketing, what was it, the category? Advertising for businesses or something, computer aided design, advertising. So anyway, I won at a national level. And because of that, like I was scooped up. I was literally running a marketing department fresh out of high school. And so I worked through marketing, like putting myself through school and everything. I started off in school pre-med. I was like, no, I'm gonna do like all the nerdy stuff. And then I'm like, hey, this marketing stuff's kind of fun. And so I switched my major and I ended up staying at the same school. I majored in graphic design. No, I majored in art and I minored in graphic design, theater, and journalism, which
Oh,
turned out to be the perfect marketing platform because I knew how to tell a story and share it, right?
yeah. Well, who knew at the time though that was going to all come together so perfectly?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, at the time I hated it. But so fast forward, I worked in corporate and small business marketing for like 15 years and then I left and I started my own agency and they really got into the back end like automation of making things kind of work. And really focusing on trying to track ROI for like what we're doing and how it actually applies to a business. And then after a while, I was like, and this is the story that I told before. I'm like, this business is too hard to scale because it was something different for every single customer that we worked with. And so I said, okay, if we're going to niche down not only who we work with, but like really focus our services and say, this is what we're going to do for people and stay in our lane. And so I really could just kind of took a step back and said, what is it that every business needs? And every business that I had worked with over the years that was successful and doing well consistently had a consistent lead generation. And so that's where I was like, okay, we've got to get into lead gen. And how do we get that online? And then plus the fact that I had just hired an agency myself to run Facebook ads and had lost over $40,000 and had like 100 leads
Oh,
that nobody converted, right?
yeah, that's
So
not a good ROI.
no, it was terrible ROI. And it was just like, at the time is like, well, like that's how it works. Like we're gonna bring you the leads, you just have to sell people, right? And I'm like, there has to be a better way. There really has to be a better way, you know? So that's where I was like, okay, if we're gonna focus on lead gen, I want this to actually work. And that's where we get into I kind of figured out how to hack the social media algorithm, how traffic moves online, and what types of content you should be producing, and then reducing your time by repurposing that. So we can totally dive into that, but I'll stop talking.
No, it's good. I love it. I love that hearing about your path and so many people kind of just end up by being in a career that they're not necessarily being fulfilled in. And that's, a lot of people I talk to. But it seems like you have just like you started on a path, but then you just keep evolving. And then you
Yep.
found what you did well. And you then went the next step in not trying to help everybody, but to niche it down, find your brilliance, stay in that lane. And that way you can make the biggest impact because now you know better than most marketing agencies out there how to, how to be more efficient, right? Get better results.
Yeah.
Um, and that's cool. I love it.
Yeah. My brain literally thinks in spreadsheets and automations. I'm like, okay, how do we make a process out of this so it's repeatable? Right?
Well, and we've had so many conversations about that too, because I'm kind of the same way. I love systems. I love automations. I love all the geeky, nerdy stuff in my business. However, that's not where I should be spending my time. I need to stay in my lane, but that's kind of the fun that I do. So what can I say? I just love it when a funnel's working correctly and you've got everything all like dialed in perfectly. It's great. But
Oh
anyway.
yeah, it's like magic. And it literally like the coolest thing about it, I mean, out of all of the things I've done, the only class I ever failed in was accounting. Like I literally cannot balance my book. That's why I hire somebody to do it. But
Somebody that's staying in their lane, right?
exactly. But I do love money math when it comes to funnels that are actually like you find the right audience, you have an opt-in that's working and it consistently converts. Like you literally build money machines. And
Mm,
that is so freaking awesome. Like that's why we're all doing this thing online.
correct. And I think, I mean, we're going to get into this in the second half. We're like diving in right away. Like, let's
You
just
know,
jump in the deep end. But so I think the hard part with marketing is people think, oh, marketing, we've got to do all this stuff online. And we're going to spend a lot of time and energy, and there's no, we can't see a tangible result. And that's the case with a lot of marketing. But like you just said a minute ago, is if you have your system dialed in, you can track the results because you could do split testing. You can see what works, what doesn't work. And then you just turn that machine on, and then there's a quantifiable number that
mhm.
you can see. Okay, how many leads am I getting? How much am I spending on ads? What do I need to adjust? And so it's marketing that actually gets you tangible results. And I love that.
Yep. Yeah. And it's, you know what? I keep trying to dive in. Are you ready to dive in? Should we
All
have-
right. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right
Okay.
back. We can't contain ourselves. So hold on 1 minute. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. If you listened to the first episode, we have just so much that we wanted to share with you. And so we're back. We're ready to go. We're going to jump in the deep end and we're going to stay there for a little while. We're going to talk about all things content, repurposing, and getting conversions from our marketing efforts. All right, Jen, take it away.
All right. So I'm going to kind of start high level and then we'll dig down here a little bit. But, as marketers, like we're like, okay, we need to expand our reach. So we want to go beyond local networking and JV opportunities. We want to go like online, right? So when we go online, where most of us just go straight to social media because we know I can put a post out there, I can see a thing. There are other people that are going to see it and they're going to come to my business and I'm going to get all the leads and I'm going to grow and amazing, right?
Yeah,
And
because we
it's
see so many people doing it. We think, oh, they're doing it. We need to do it. But what we don't know is they're not really getting anything from that other than they're keeping busy doing more and
yep,
more posts.
exactly. And yeah, and listen, I mean, I will my entire business is focused around social media and I still like I hate it. Like I really do. I
Uh-huh.
personally hate all things Facebook and social media. I just like I don't like to be on it. But it's this necessary sort of evil, right? It is
Yes.
a place where a lot of our people are. So the key really comes in understanding how these, I'm sure you've probably heard it, social media algorithm. All that the word algorithm means is literally it's like the traffic cops that live on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere that you're posting, right? It's just like the traffic cops that are saying, are we going to show your stuff to more people or not? And so what we want to do is understand the things that they're looking for so that we're playing by their rules. And basically you can hack that algorithm by saying, okay, I get what you're after. I'm going to play by your rules and then I'm going to make this work for me. So that's basic. That's what we're talking about here.
Right.
So
Because if they're happy, then they're going to like bump our stuff up, right? They're not going to
absolutely.
hold it down
Yep.
because they have more power than we think they do.
They have so much power. It's freaking ridiculous. Like
Mhm.
and I even know all the things that they track, and I'm still constantly surprised. Like, okay, that's creepy. They just know. Anyway, so literally, like, I don't care what platform you're on. Every single platform, they all have a little bit different type of format or different type of content that people, like to eat up. Like TikTok is really huge right now. I know a lot of people are absolutely killing on it. That's definitely like short format video
Mhm.
that's working, and it's usually sharing something educational or entertaining, right?
Yep.
Educational and entertaining kind of goes across all platforms, and then it's kind of the message that changes, right? On YouTube, people are going to go there more for like how to instructional stuff,
Right.
as well as educating and entertaining. um Facebook, people are there to connect with people, right? They're there like as a community and to connect there. Instagram is a great just sort of visual porn or real porn, I guess.
Yeah.
But like but it's it's a very visual type of community, but it's still entertain me and inform me. And so when you look at what all of these platforms are trying to do, like Facebook itself, it's a business, just like
Mhm.
we're in business. And their business is to gather as many people onto their platform and keep people on there as they
Right.
can, because then they can charge advertisers a ton of money, right?
Yep.
Like they just want people on their platform. So when you go and do this thing that all of us have done, which is, oh, I have a new post or an image, or you do a video or you go live or whatever, and you're like, go check out my new program, go check out my new opt-in. I have this challenge, I have this whatever, right? We go post all this stuff, and then we're like, here's the link, go here, right? We're literally violating the traffic cop rules.
Right, because they
We're
don't
literally-
want people off of their platform.
yeah, they want people on their platform.
Yeah.
So video works because people are watching your stuff, so they're engaging with your content. But then when you're like, no, go here, then the traffic cops are like, right, you're trying to take people away from us, so we're just gonna not show your stuff to as many people because you're not playing by the rules.
Mm.
Pretty consistent for most of the platforms. Now, each of them have different ways that you can kind of take traffic away, but really, what you have to do is pay to play, quote unquote, pay to play, right? So if you are like, if all you do from this is just literally change the way that you're posting things, don't post a link that's taking people away. Like here's what we love to do for formats as we get into sort of content repurposing. Actually, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Can I back up just a tiny bit?
Yeah, back up the bus.
Everybody-
Beep, beep, beep.
So for every single platform, the awesome thing of keeping people entertained and engaged is, as humans, we are all wired to listen to stories.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. Stories are entertaining, they're informing. It's people lean into stories. They can see themselves in that narrative.
Yep. They can picture themselves in it.
Yep.
So the better you are at storytelling, that is going to work on every single platform because
Ooh,
are there to
I
do,
like
right? So
that.
you can cut so much of your work already if you just focus on telling stories. And I don't care if it's a story about brushing your teeth this morning. Like it's a story. It doesn't have to be this big I almost died and I saved the world kind of story, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, as long as you're telling stories, that is going to keep people educated and entertained, and it's going to work on all platforms. So we would just want to start there. So a good story also should, like the best format is going to be on video, because video is by far the most engaging, mostly because people can see and read your face and read your body language, and like that's that
Mhm.
form. Um, so you start there, and generally what we recommend is recording like a 3 to 5 minute story.
Okay.
You're sharing amazing, amazing stories, right? And you can do this multiple times. But with with just one awesome 5-minute story, you can then go back. I'm sure you guys have all seen stories. I'm sorry, Facebook stories, Instagram stories, Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, the short format videos, right? 60 seconds or less. Story posts, we're talking 15 seconds. Um, but those are the little, like, short little nuggets. Well,
Yep.
in 5 minutes of a story, you can pull out a whole lot of short little nugget, like hooky things, or little, like, it's just little sound bites that you can look back at your story and be like, oh, that sounds interesting, right? And we're
Hmm.
just going through the points. And my favorite way of doing this is literally just getting a transcript of the video, and then I read through it, and I just go, okay, what catches my attention? What's a wait, what? Wait, what? That's literally all I'm looking for, are those little hooky moments.
Yep.
So you can create a month's worth of content from one really good story, you know? And honestly, like I said, 3 to 5, you can do like a longer format. You can do a couple of them or something, usually 8 to 12 minutes gives you some like different variety of snips, but you can literally pull it all from one video. So you can create literally a month's worth of little tiny short content things.
Hmm.
So here's the so let's just picture Facebook, because that's where most people go
Yep.
to start with. So you have your one long video. It's called a 5-minute video.
Yep.
That's your format. You are not going to put it on YouTube and share the YouTube link, because that is taking people off.
Yeah. Facebook won't like that.
Nope. So you're just going to right onto Facebook. And then you're going to create, you can probably create 15, 30 different little snippets from that same video. You
Uh-huh.
can also create graphics from like amazing quotes. It's so funny when you go back and record something. So I do this. I'm like, wow, actually, actually sounded like I knew what I was talking about there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you can create graphic quotes. You can turn the transcript into a written post for like a text post. That's still a story format. Um, so consider changing up the media, but far and away, video is going to outperform anything else.
Yeah.
So you're gonna chop all of that stuff up and literally create a month's worth of content. Now, what you are not going to do is link each of those little short story posts and stuff to your opt-in or your website or your wherever you're taking people away. A really great key is to actually link people, like, hey, want to see the rest? Link them to your Facebook post that has that 5-minute video. So
Mm.
you're
The
playing by
original post. The original post.
your original post. Yep.
Okay.
So you have all this content that's linking to that post. So you're keeping people on the platform. The traffic cops are like, oh, you're playing by the rules, right? Green light, like, go baby go. So then your reach expands.
So that original post, you put it on Facebook on your business page or your personal profile?
Business page.
That's okay.
Business page. Put it on your business page. You can share it to your personal profile from your
Yes.
business page, but it should be on your business page to start with.
Got it. Perfect.
Yep. So some awesome things are happening here. When you do that, you can actually target all of the people who have engaged with video on your page. So you know that they're like, oh, these people actually want to listen to my videos and watch my videos. Like, they like my stuff. That means they like you and they're more likely to buy your stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So by repurposing all this stuff, you're creating an audience of people who are engaging with your content. You're playing by the traffic cop rules, right? So that's one element. Now, what happens? How do we actually convert them? How do we actually get them off? So,
I don't know, but I'm hoping you tell us.
yes. So I like to call this the traffic trifecta. So we've just talked about the social aspect of like how we're playing by the rules and keeping people on there. Um, Now there's two other elements to this traffic trifecta, and it comes from how people are sort of moving around. So first of all, we're clicking them through to that 5-minute video, the original post. So from there, that post can actually, you can put a link to whatever you're doing. Your
Okay, so the original post can have the link to
it
your
can
landing page.
because we're going to put money behind it. And when I say money behind it, you can literally do a boosted post for $5 a week, right?
Okay.
It does not have to be much money, but if you are paying to play, you can put a link on that post that's going to your opt-in, to your sales page, to your book a call, wherever you're taking people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can literally spend like 20 bucks a month and boost that post, and you're saying, yep, I'm paying. Here's my link. I want to send a whole bunch of people here and take them off. If you really want to explode that, you could also do like a boosted post on all of your little snippets or the ones that are performing well, right? You can continue increasing your reach.
Mm-hmm.
And all that while, you're also building more of an audience of people who are watching your video.
Yeah.
Right? So it grows an audience quickly, and it gets targeted people who are like, oh, I really like this person. I'm going to follow their stuff, right? So that's where the paid traffic comes from. So part of our traffic trifecta, social, paid traffic, and the third part of the triangle is when, and I know we've all done this, we see a post, we see an ad, we see something, and we're like, looks interesting, but they're going to follow me all over if I click on it. I'm going to have to give up my fake email address. I'm going to have to, like, what, I don't want that. I want to learn this on my own terms. So this is where we go backdoor research. We go to Google and we're like, is this person legit? Is this program legit? Like, what is it with this person? Like, however you're searching. So that is the other part. And this is, for those super nerds, this is technically SEO, or search engine optimization. And I'm not advocating that you have to become a blogger or spend hundreds of thousands on SEO, but you should have content that shows up when people search for your program and your name,
Okay.
your business name, because people will search for you. And when they see your ad that you spent money on, or they see your post that you spent all this time creating and posting, and they go search and they don't find you, they're finding your competition. So you're just literally like, oh, here, let me help my competition,
Right.
right? If you're not
Yeah.
claiming, right? So when you actually create content that is searchable, now, what is searchable outside of a high ranked blog or SEO that way? Things that are searchable are social media profiles. So your about section on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter posts show up if you happen to be on Twitter. The really big one is YouTube. So the same video that you put on Facebook, you're also going to put on YouTube. And you're going to fill in all those tags and say, hey, here's search term keywords that people are looking for me, blah, 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 right?
Okay.
Those things become searchable. So when people go look for you, they can find you through your different social channels, possibly your website, possibly YouTube. Like, you want to have those places where people can find you. And that gives you the full traffic trifecta. There's a lot of info. How are we doing?
I mean, I'm following. I have a lot of notes, and I think this is great. What about LinkedIn? How does that fit into this whole thing?
LinkedIn profiles, excuse me, LinkedIn profiles totally show up in search results as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do is make sure that, across all of your profiles, you're consistently talking about who you are, how you help people, who you serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff should at least incorporate the search, like the main search terms. Like for us, all of our profiles now include online lead generation, because that's what we do for people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I make sure that that's included in our profiles when people go look us up.
Mm.
But if you're making sure that all of your social profiles are at least kind of
Cohesive with,
optimized,
yeah. Oh, up, yeah.
right?
Well, this was a lot of information. I think it's great. I love this stuff. So The only
And this
thing
is
that
oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the only thing that I don't love doing it is doing it myself. And
Mm,
so I would like for you to share a little bit about how people can get support. I know you've got a free gift that you're going to be sharing that will kind of give a lot of great information that supports all of this and some probably some new stuff. Because you have the ultimate content repurposing guide.
woohoo. Yep, yep. So, so yeah, the ultimate content repurposing guide, let's start there. That is definitely, that's our gift for you right now. And that is, I can't remember. I think it's like a 10-page guide, and I know that breaks the marketing rules, but I literally like I want you to be able to understand this process as well as to be able to do it. So it walks you through step by step, um, how to incorporate the right sort of search terms into the original story that you're going to record, and then how
Mm,
to break that story out into multiple different snippets, and then how and where and when to actually post that online. So it kind of gives you the whole process, and it becomes like the only part you have to do is record your original story, right? And you can hand the rest off to your VA, your team, or whatever.
yep.
Um, let them go. So once they have a process to follow, it's a lot easier to do the repurposing and what to post, when to boost your posts. But literally, like, this is a completely scalable process. It's the
Absolutely.
exact same framework that you can do on your own with you and or your VA, but it's the same process that we do with my entire team in our done for you services, that we're literally charging, 5, 8K a month to do this same process for people. And that's like, once you get it nailed, it just continues to grow with you.
It-
And it reduces the amount of time that you're actually having to create new content, because you don't have to create all new content. You're just
right. Once one
focusing on
month, right? One
stories.
little
Yep.
12-minute story a month, and then your team knows what to do to bring it to life. So what I want to ask you, because I know you've been really great at showing up, serving my community, all of the women that have been in our books and all the women that are in my program, you are always just really like you have a big heart. You want to help. And I know a lot of them have taken your training in the past and are using it and are knocking it out of the park. And I know you have a program, and we don't usually talk about this, but I
Mm.
want to I want to share that you have something coming up that I think is going to be really helpful for people,
Mhm.
especially if you do have a team or if you know that you need to build a team and that you want to scale, but you don't necessarily want to get bogged down in doing it yourself. It's from what I understand, this is a program that your team can learn all of these tools so they can just like crank it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it's so here's what happened, like why we came up with this program, which is called Turning Your Content to Cash.
Love
And
that, by the way.
I mean, that's what we're all trying to do. So yeah, it's for me as an agency owner, right? We are killing it for our done for you customers, but not everybody's ready for
No,
a done for you
right.
level, right?
Exactly.
And the do it yourself, I mean, our opt-in here, the ultimate content repurposing guide is a great opt-in. You still have to do all the work yourself. And if anybody else has ever attempted content repurposing, it can be messy, especially if you don't have a system or a process that you're following. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
because you have all this stuff you don't know what to do with it and you're spending all this time creating it and then you're like stuck like what's
yeah,
next? And then
and
you
then you
throw
forget,
crap
like,
out there but it doesn't work and then you're like all right, well, but if you have
yeah.
a system to follow, it just takes the burden off.
It totally does. Yeah. And so that's we struggled for quite a while. I was like, how do we offer what we're doing as the done for you service to more people, like make it accessible for more people, because we know this system works, right? And it's just tweaking what you're already doing. So so where we landed is if our team, I mean, I have a whole full team of video editor and designer and copywriter and all the people that make this stuff happen. And if our team takes on repurposing your stories and turning that into all of this social content for you,
Mhm,
so then you don't have to do that repurposing part.
mhm,
And then if we can also tell you like, hey, here's a content calendar, just follow this. Here's the posts that you're going to include a link with. Here's the ones that you're not. Here's the ones that you're going to boost. Here's when you're going to post them on which platform and which day.
mhm,
It literally, like, it becomes so much easier.
mhm.
But then it's not our team running the ads and doing the posts. So it becomes this in between kind of service.
Yeah.
So that's where turning your content to cash was born, is is getting those stories out of people. And I know it's not always easy to tell a story, especially when you're on a spot, you know. So we literally, like, we created a virtual stage. You literally show up on a Zoom call with me. I interview you. I poke until we get good stories. I'm
Mm,
like asking questions, please, drawing those stories out of you. Then we turn that into an episode. We promote you anyway. It's a live show on YouTube and Facebook. And it's also a podcast. So like that just lives on forever. You get to have.
nice.
But then more importantly, as our team goes to work, we go and repurpose your stories into this month's worth of content that includes calls to action to whatever it is that you're promoting, your
Mm,
opt-in, your
mhm,
call, or your event, or whatever. So we're creating all of these assets that you can use to promote those things. And then we give you a digital content calendar. So it shows you what to post where. So it's literally a spreadsheet that's all like programmed for your all of your assets. And you just plug in your channels and away you go. It also comes with a little mini training. So like you don't have to do it if you have a VA or a team.
right.
Here's
Here. Yeah.
assets. And then we also have live office hour calls as well. So for those times when you run into, okay, I need some one-on-one support, right? Then I'm still showing up to offer guidance and support and answer any of those questions that you get along the way. So that is our new program that we are very, very excited about.
I'm excited about it because I know we've talked many, many times about, spending six, seven, $8,000 a month for advertising. My clients were not already for that stage.
Mhm,
And how do you serve them in a way that still serves them, right? Because just giving somebody a course doesn't really do it.
mhm.
And
Yep.
it sounds like this program provides a little bit of done for you work and the framework for you and your team to just follow. I love that.
Yep.
I'm
Yep. Exactly. And
excited about this.
it's only $1,500. And so it's like a thing that anytime you
Oh,
have a new program or an event or something, like, okay, come and we'll actually produce all the assets for you. You can come back as many different times as you want, but it's reasonable to be able
oh
to
my
afford.
gosh, absolutely. I love it. I love it. So I will just end with if this interests you at all, I definitely go to the link in the show notes and get Jen's ultimate content repurposing guide that will get you started in this process. And we'll go ahead and get the link from Jen about her program so you can kind of just, check it out and see if it interests you. And I'm sure that there's a way on there for you to ask her questions if you find that it is something that may be a good fit for you.
Yep.
However, I want to thank you, Jen. This has been fun. We talked for about 20 minutes before we started. We'll probably talk for 20 minutes afterwards. And I love the conversations we have, and I love how your business has evolved in such an amazing way that you're able to help so many people now. You're not limited in who you help
Mhm.
be able to allow their businesses to grow through a process that actually works.
Yeah. Yeah. And doesn't require a ton of time or money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Love it.
Well, thank you so
Any
much. Sorry, I just sort of verbal diarrhea all over everybody. I hope
No,
this
it
is
was
all.
perfect. Do you have any final things that you wanna share or anything final you wanna share before we no?
I like to say think in terms of sound bites, but really just like be aware of how you can turn any answer to a question into a story. Take advantage any stage that you're on, like hack that stage and tell as many stories as possible.
Well, yeah, and what you just said is something that kind of rang a bell for me is we have many times our clients or prospects will ask us questions or things come up and you answer them and then you just go on. Like or you answer, you move on to the next thing. Well, take every one of those questions, turn it into a short little answer solution video, share a story around it too, right? Don't just tell people what you want to tell them.
Mhm.
Tell them through story.
Yep.
Use a case study or use something that will illustrate what you're trying to say. And gosh, we could have a whole year's worth of content in a couple weeks if we kind of learn the art of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, easily. And it helps also to even start tracking your stories on like a story bank so that you know.
Oh, what is a good tool to track all of this? If we're going to put together a story bank of stories, like, is there something that you can recommend for managing all these great ideas? I love asking this question.
I honestly just use a Google sheet or an
Okay,
Excel sheet.
perfect.
Because, and what I like to track is what's the story, some sort of a like reminder that, oh, this is the story, right?
Hmm.
And then this this is the like the lesson that was learned, right? And then here's I also like to tie like core values or objections to like overcoming which objections or which core values you're highlighting. Because if people ask you something about, you know, how do you find your creative spark, right? I know, like, oh, I have 3 different stories that work really,
Ah,
really well for talking about creativity or talking about overcoming anxiety or whatever. So, like, you start to build up these stories that you know you can just go to right away.
mm, yeah. Yeah. I use a Google sheet as well for my story bank, but I just kind of, when you mentioned that, I'm like, ooh, maybe she's got something different, but yeah, it
So,
works. And I see it looks like we have the same ring. Yeah. Is that an aura ring?
yes, yep.
Yay, we are
Love
magic.
that.
We're aura sisters. All right, everybody, enough of that. Thank you. This has been fun. And if you learned anything from this show, share it with a friend because we all know that if we teach what we learn, we retain it more. Plus, we're helping them.
Mhm.
And if you like the podcast, please go to whatever platform you listen and show us some love. I mean, seriously, if you thought about this, I say this every show and you haven't done it, take a moment to go to that platform and give us a little review, honest review. We're not telling you to say it's wonderful if you don't like it. But I'm hoping if you've been listening that you do like the show, because the more support we get from our listeners, the more chances we have to attract amazing guests like Jenn. And we want to keep bringing on the experts to share with our community. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Christy. What a fun.
It was a lot of fun. All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to the Mastery Unleashed podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams by turning their mess into their greatest message and following their purpose to help the people who need their newfound wisdom and resources. To learn more, visit masteryunleashedpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to this show.